African Union Heads of State Summit, we explore key issues. TASAC, Liberia Maritime Authority sign Memorandum of Understanding as nation advances its regional maritime dominance.
Maritime Training Center.
Good evening. I am Chedi Mfaranyanga. You can also follow us live through our YouTube channel, TVC Online, and get all the latest news through our Instagram, Facebook, and X pages at TVC Online. President Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan is in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, to attend the 39th African Union Heads of State and Government Summit scheduled for February 14th to the 15th, 2026. The African Union Heads of State Summit will be under the 2026 theme, ensuring sustainable access to water and safe sanitation services to achieve Agenda 2063 goals, which seeks to promote collective continental action to secure water resources, public health, and sustainable development. The meeting will also formally announce African Union leadership for 2026, with Burundi set to assume the African Union chairmanship, while President Dr. Samia has been proposed for the appointment as the African Union champion for maternal and child health, pending formal endorsement by the Heads of State Summit. To discuss this and more, we are joined live in the studio with political analyst and advocate of the High Court of Tanzania, Novatus Sigosha. Welcome, Novatus.
Thank you very much, Teddy.
Now, we are aware of the African Union Heads of State and Government Summit that is going to take place from tomorrow until Sunday. What are the key agenda items expected at this summit?
Well, thank you for having me. The African Heads of State 39th Summit over the years was aiming on three key elements. Number one, coherence in international negotiations. How Africa can have leverage when it's facing intense competition in the geopolitical spectrum among the major powers, significantly what diplomatically call the large panda or the dragon, or the bear and the eagle. In other words, the United States, China, and Russia. But the key agenda is mainly focused on continental integration. How much can African countries integrate among themselves? And the second agenda is aimed at security and peace frameworks. And the other agenda is also focused on reforms of financing and institutional governance. So far, the rotation is not only a question of changing the stewardship, but on how much they can focus on those three objectives, and how much they can be able to pivot in domestic delivery and coherence.
Okay, and how significant is President Samia's participation at this particular summit, considering Tanzania's growing diplomatic presence in Africa and the world?
Okay, thank you. Very much significant. To be honest, President Samia Suluhu Hassan has a very positive name within the diplomatic community, at least in Tanzania. I was honored this evening to attend a diplomatic gathering from the Japanese invitation of the Empire Summit, the Empire's birthday. So I was able to network. So as far as this summit is concerned, sovereign pragmatism. Our presence is continuing to show Tanzania is a hinge state. We have always been there for African countries when it comes to trade negotiations in East Africa, and at the same time, peace deployment of our peacekeeping troops, whether in the Horn of Africa or in other parts of the world, and international negotiations. So President Samia Suluhu Hassan's presence, number one, is going to deepen bilateral engagements. But secondly, it's going to foster multilateral engagements, not only in East Africa, but in other parts of Africa, but at the larger world, which is right now very much fluid and dynamic. But not only that, Samia's presence in Ethiopia continues to give confidence to African partners that Tanzania can always be counted. Tanzania is still stable. Tanzania is still visionary. This is a country that is a very strong partner state historically in SADC, in East Africa, at the same time in larger African continental engagements. So as the chairmanship comes to our home and the president is there, her presence is not only a question of the head of state, but very much coherent as the bastion of power in East Africa and the rest of the world.
Okay, and what diplomatic opportunities now does this summit present for Tanzania in terms of strengthening bilateral and multilateral relations with other African countries?
With other African countries, number one is a little bit challenging because let's say by 2050, Africa is going to have a population of about 1.5 billion people. So Africa will be vastly a very large market with 54 partners, so to speak, but at the same time with a median population of demographic line continuing to surge. So economic opportunities, number one, Tanzania needs to continue to engage itself with its co-partners in East Africa to give confidence to the international community. It's always a good idea to come and invest in Tanzania, especially now. Now, there can be a lot of talk about what happened last year, but every country continued to have its challenges. But pragmatically, we have always continued to emerge as a nice example, as a right country to give the vision. And so far, our bilateral and multilateral engagements have been in the right stewardship under the leadership of President Samia Suluhu Hassan and, of course, her incumbent Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Kombo.
Okay. Now the African Union is pushing forward Agenda 2063. How can Tanzania align its development goals and priorities with the African Union's long-term continental vision?
In my humble opinion, Teddy, first of all, we must remember our core values in the 2050 vision in Tanzania, because international diplomacy has to focus on what is important at home. Now, how we must align, we must coordinate our coherence, negotiation abilities. But second of all, we must build our capacity at home in terms of human resources development, because we are going to be a very young continent in those coming years. So young people need to have the right skills in terms of their education, but leadership needs to do reforms. Reforms in terms of political, civil engagement, democracy, but at the same time, participation in key agendas on the continent. The voice of Tanzania continues to be significant. It is significant in terms of trade, in terms of infrastructure buildup, in terms of confidence politically, and the political will when we speak in East Africa or the rest of Africa. Tanzania's political will continues to be paramount.
Okay, and on that note, we have come to the end of our interview. Igosha, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, Teddy. I appreciate it.
And on to the next news. The Director General of Tanzania's Shipping Agencies Corporation, Mohamed Salum, as Tanzania's maritime sector, has made major strides with significant growth being witnessed in the port of Dar es Salaam, acting also as a key gateway for landlocked countries such as Zambia, DRC, Malawi, Rwanda, Burundi, and Uganda. He made the remarks during the signing ceremony of the Memorandum of Understanding between TASAC and Liberia Maritime Authority, elaborating steps taken to make Tanzania the regional maritime hub.
The past 3 years, everyone is talking about how we have transformed Dar es Salaam port. Now it used to hold 17 million tons, but now we are ranging around 31 million tons. So there are a lot of ships coming to our waters, but we're also doing a lot on the seafarers training and education and certification. Now we've improved a lot. We have a regional maritime training center, Dar es Salaam Maritime Institute, but we are doing certifications of seafarers, and we provide the curriculums for seafarers training. So we are doing very well, but we also improved search and rescue. We have been doing, as you know, last month we had a launch of Mwanza Search and Rescue Center for Lake Victoria, but we've also been purchasing other search and rescue boats. We have already placed one in Tanga, another one in Kigoma, and now we are in procurement of another 2 boats so that we can enhance our search and rescue activity.
A permanent representative to the International Maritime Organization, Robert Wilmot Padek, underscores intra-African efforts to boost the maritime sector through improving regional connectivity to drive sustainable, inclusive trade.
Nigeria and Tanzania demonstrate that if we unite and put our resources together, we can foster maritime development for our country. This is the mentality that we intend to echo to the entire Africa. We are stronger together when we unite, and we can work together to advance all of our industries. Liberia brings a great deal of experience, a rich history to this partnership. The leading registry and many other things, white list country, many things we've done. We believe when Africa hold together, work together, and unite, we can do greater things, and the sky is our limit, and we can rise to great heights towards shared prosperity.
Liberia is a leading global ship registry, making the partnership critical to TASAC's endeavors to continue to be a key driver for efficiency and transparency, not only to Tanzania, but also regional maritime sector. The World Gold Council has signaled its readiness to partner with Tanzania to bolster the gold sector, focusing on value addition and upgrading small-scale mining technology, aligning the initiative with Tanzania's efforts to increase domestic refining. The announcement was made in Dar es Salaam by Chief Executive Officer of WGC, David Tite, following high-level consultations with key government ministers tasked with driving growth in the nation's gold industry. Rehema Swabili has more details.
Tanzania is ranked among the top 5 gold-producing nations in Africa, with small-scale miners contributing approximately 40% of the country's total gold outputs. Minister of State in the President's Office for Planning and Investment, Professor Kitila Mkumbo, underscores that Tanzania's regulatory framework mandates local value addition for all minerals prior to export.
Discuss a number of things, but more importantly, standardizing of the gold standards. And for us, he has pledged to work with us in a number of areas, but 1, traceability of the gold, and 2, they're going to work with us to team up with Tanzania and with the ministry in our objective of improving the geological data for the gold and the mining in general. So we're going to be doing with them the satellite high-resolution geological survey, as we've agreed.
I'm looking very much forward to working with the ministers and the government moving forward. As I'm sure has just been mentioned, there are a variety of things that we can do, from convening to an MOU to technology to education to all forms of, like I said, especially the sourcing technology that we need to introduce into the country, such that this Tanzania looks like the best template that I want to roll out internationally.
Minister of Minerals Anton Mavunde underscores WGC's commitment to support Tanzania and conducting comprehensive geological survey so as to identify and verify existing gold deposits. The collaboration is expected to improve access and efficiency for small-scale miners while expanding investment opportunities across the sector.
The issue of cooperating with the government in terms of increasing the geodata of our country's geological setup, because we have so far conducted a geological survey only 16% of our country's size, and we have this mantra of Vision 2030 where we aim at covering at least 50% of our country's size. Now, having World Gold Council in place means a lot to us because they are ready and willing to cooperate with us and other stakeholders and as partners, at least to have another big program of satellite imagery, which I'm sure it's going to add a lot in our geoscientific data of our country.
The high-level consultations were also attended by Dorothy Gwajima, Minister for Community Development, Gender, Women and Special Groups, and Noel Nanauka, Minister for Youth Affairs. From Dar es Salaam, Rehema Sibabili, TBC News.
Deputy Minister for Industry and Trade, Dennis Londa, says Tanzania is not only a peaceful place to do business, but also a gateway to East and Central African countries' economies, connecting with Gulf nations, especially in the United Arab Emirates. He made the remarks in Dubai while opening the first conference of the Tanzania Freight Forwarders Association, TANFORD, in Dubai, United Arab Emirates.
Framework, including National Development Vision 2050, guide our policies and investments in trade, industry, and logistics. In particular, set a transformative agenda with trade and clear objectives to position Tanzania as a competitive, industrialized, and inclusive middle-income country by mid-century. Key objective of Vision 2050 that include accelerated industrialization and diversification of the economy to increase the manufacturing share of GDP and create quality jobs for Tanzanians, modern, resilient, and climatic smart infrastructure to reduce logistics costs and improve connectivity.
On the other hand, the Deputy Minister for Foreign Affairs, James Malia, says Tanzania continues to be a safe and peaceful destination for investors from various countries around the world.
That the discussions we hold here will significantly shape the future we all envision of integrating the world's business to the heart of Africa, including showcasing Tanzania's competitiveness as a strategic regional trade and logistics hub, serving East Africa, Central and Southern Africa, landlocked neighboring countries, as you have already mentioned, Mr. Chairperson. This forum is being held at the right time when diplomatic, trade and economic relations between Tanzania and UAE is flourishing. Oil and gas, trade, tourism, and investment being key sectors of our cooperation, driven increasingly by reciprocal high levels visits and frequent exchange of businesses, communities forums, including the one recently held between Tanzania Chamber of Commerce, Industry and Agriculture, and their counterparts, Dubai Chamber of Commerce, also without forgetting excellent cooperation between Tanzania Ports Authority, TPA, and DP World, as well as cooperation in civil aviation, just to mention a few.
And on to the next story. Director General of the Tanzania ICT Commission, Dr. Nkundwe Mwasaga, says this year's Tehama Awards comes at a critical time when the nation advances in its full implementation of the Digital Economy Strategic Framework 2024 to 2034, which is a comprehensive 10-year plan aimed at transforming the nation into a competitive, inclusive, and digitally empowered economy. Speaking to TBC News, Dr. Mwasaga insists the awards since its inception have been a key catalyst to the nation's digital economy, which subsequently built country's GDP.
The reason why we identify the actors and we give them the award is because in the digital economy or digital entrepreneurship, there's no alone or single person that is able to innovate and also to do the entrepreneurship activity that is needed. You need an ecosystem to grow, so we want to stimulate, we want to ensure that we recognize the effort that is done in the ecosystem so that we can be able to accelerate the growth of our digital economy, because the digital economy has many benefits to our country. One is to ensure that digital economy is enabled to build our GDP, or to accelerate the growth of our GDP, and also to create jobs. We look at youth as important actors in the ecosystem so that we can be able to make the digital economy for Tanzania to be competitive in the region, to be competitive in the African continent, and also to be competitive globally.
Furthermore, says the Tehama Awards 2026 are designed to measure milestones in Tanzania's digital ecosystem by honoring, encouraging, and fostering collaboration among all key actors.
Awards like this, Tehama Awards 2026, as a way to measure and to see what ecosystem is doing toward achieving the goal that we have put in our strategic document of digital economy, which will end in 2034. And by doing that, we do look at all the actors in the digital ecosystem of our Tanzania, which is including telecommunication service providers, the startups, the innovators, the researchers, public institutions, academia, individuals who have achieved a lot, youth. We look at achievement of women. We have 14 categories and 42 awards. So
Tehama Awards welcomes entries with deadline set to be on 15th March 2026, and the initiative focuses on recognizing excellence in the Tanzania ICT sector. The Southern African Development Community Accreditation Service, SADCAS, has awarded the Tanzania Bureau of Standards, TBS, an international accreditation certificate for its inspection systems under the globally recognized ISO/IEC 17020 standard. Speaking in Dar es Salaam, Minister for Industry and Trade Judith Kapinga says the accreditation will enhance investor confidence both locally and internationally, while opening new market opportunities for Tanzanian products in regional and global markets.
Hibati hii ina maana kuwa ukaguzi unaofanywa na TBS.
This accreditation means that inspections conducted by TBS are internationally recognized as being carried out professionally and in line with global accepted standards. The results of TBS inspections are now trusted not only here in the country, but also across the Southern Africa regional communities and worldwide. This strengthens confidence among investors, producers, and regional markets in Tanzanian products.
And Dr. Ashura Katunzi, TBS Director General, says the certificate validates the Bureau's inspection systems as fully compliant with international standards of technical competence. Meanwhile, the Southern African Development Community Accreditation Service Chief Executive emphasizes the significance of the accreditation, aligning the country's standards with international best practices and strengthening its reputation as a producer of highly quality goods.
Therefore, this certificate is a major milestone for us and for stakeholders that we serve as we continue to be an enabling institution in the industrial and trade sectors.
The benefits of accreditation are consumer confidence. These days, the consumer is asking, why should I trust this product? Who has inspected this product? Has this product been inspected by a credible institution? So this accreditation will offer that confidence to the community that there is an authoritative body that is overseeing the processes that are being undertaken by TBS.
The Embassy of the Islamic Republic of Iran in Tanzania has marked the 47th anniversary of Iran's Islamic Revolution, highlighting the country's journey of liberation. Speaking during the celebration, the ambassador of Iran to Tanzania, Mohammad Javad Matpana, says the Islamic Revolution remains a defining moment in Iran's history, symbolizing the nation's struggle for independence. He highlights that over the years, relations between Tanzania and Iran have continued to deepen, grounded in mutual respect and shared cooperation.
After 47 years, Iran, alhamdulillah, is now progressing. We have progress in economy, we have progress in policy. We have started a very wide, I can say, the very crucial attempts to have very good cooperation with our neighboring countries, with African countries. Now, one of our priority in foreign policy is to establish cooperation with the African countries, especially Tanzania. I'm assigned to develop economic relationship with Tanzania.
The ambassador further emphasized the long-standing historical connection between the two nations. He adds that Tanzania presents vast opportunities for investment, particularly in trade.
In our view, is the land of opportunity. There are many capabilities for receiving the investments in livestock, in agriculture, mining, refineries, many fields, medical. You know that Iran has progressed in manufacturing in medical equipments, especially in the gas and oil, also for refineries. We want to try to explore the fields of cooperation here, and also to activate those conclusions of previous exploration which have been done. Our relation with Tanzania is based on mutual respect, on base of two principles, mutual respect and mutual interest.
And let us move to sports news. The president of CAF, Dr. Patrice Motsepe, has dismissed allegations that AFCON will not take place in the East African host nations, reaffirming that the tournament will proceed as planned. He made those remarks during the CAF Executive Committee meeting held in Dar es Salaam alongside other CAF leaders and members of the press.
And just to re-emphasize what I said in Morocco, which is that the AFCON next year in Kenya, in Tanzania, in Uganda is going to be enormously successful, enormously successful. And I saw, as I said, over the last few days, I see lots of media speculation, whether it's social media or even, I'm told, in the Guardian, the Guardian newspaper. In London, one of the most respected newspapers in the world, that there was an allegation that I am here to tell Tanzania and Kenya and Uganda that I'm taking away the AFCON because our three countries are not going to be ready. That's totally unfounded. You know, sometimes, you know, I say certain things and the media just either say something totally opposite or like in this context that I am enormously confident that we will succeed. Will there be challenges? There are always challenges.
And that marks the end of our news bulletin for tonight. Do not miss our next bulletin at 11 p.m. On behalf of the whole team, I am Teddy Mfaranyanga. Have a lovely weekend ahead.